We all have to collect something.
That's right.
This week on Three Old Tech Dudes,
We don't know
we
why.
have something that has been collected. They used to collect coins.
They did collect coins.
My mobile phone here.
Yep, so we found that's heavy enough. I'm worried about it breaking the
I
world.
asked you about your table.
It's fine.
It said if I like to should make a call, I should insert 50 cents. 50 cents. That's why you brought this here to collect my money.
That's right.
I knew it.
This week on Three Old Tech Dudes, I take Timmy's money.
And then
And
the
I
call
sit over
would
here and
go
laugh.
Why? Well, why you like this
Well-
stuff? I don't understand.
I don't know.
But he really likes it. I mean, he's a fan, and that's cool. But
I like telephone stuff. So, one of our previous episodes, I had an answering machine. If you haven't seen that episode, go.
That big-
put
it was
over there.
old.
Yeah.
That was like one of our first.
it was out of
one
our first group of
videos,
episodes.
yeah.
Yes.
So, this is my public payphone. According to the sticker inside, it was manufactured around the year. There's no money in there.
I was looking. That's traditional.
It is.
Everybody looks for the dimes.
So it was manufactured around 1991.
Oh,
So
I was just a little squirt.
Yeah, it was under warranty until
I
'92.
was in college.
So
Nathan was not as little squirt.
I was 10.
Yeah.
So I found this
Payphones
on
have warranties.
well, a year one
That's
apparently.
interesting.
This thing, I don't know how you'd heard it. I mean,
It's for when the Crips rip the phone receiver off
that's about the only thing you can do to these. Honestly,
in the
is
middle of the
break-
war with the Bloods.
You can break the receiver, or maybe if you pulled hard enough, the security cable would give. But
So I find the phone number for the phone is on the phone.
I don't.
That was
yeah.
pretty common, actually.
Yeah, well, most of them have. Some of them. Now, there were payphones that could not. They were set up specifically so that they could not receive calls. Like
When
there wasn't a ringer
When
inside
I was
them.
in junior high, we all talked on the phone because it was the olden days.
Oh,
still.
yeah. Yeah, I did all
And
the way
I
through
would
high
walk to
school.
the payphone by the local Hardee's restaurant, and I would tell my friend to call me in a collect call.
The one across the.
I could leave a collect call, and they'd say, "Call me at the payphone" or something like that, and they would dial the
and he knew the
payphone number
number.
because it was on the front,
Okay,
just
I
like
got
this.
you.
And the payphone would ring, and I
That's
would
a
talk
really
on
good
it.
plan. Huh? Wow,
It was like hacking before I had a computer.
that's cool. So, payphones have had an interesting history. I think. I mean, they up until probably about 10 years ago. I mean, you couldn't throw a stone without hitting one. Maybe more than 10 years.
15.
So
Yeah.
let's see. Here.
Smartphones have killed it, but yeah.
They really have. I kind of think it's unfortunate just because I like payphones and stuff, But
You should turn this thing into a nerd backpack.
it's going to
Put
be.
some straps on.
It's staying a payphone. I wouldn't want to.
Well,
put
you
this
could
thing
leave
on my
everything
back.
on it.
I would not want to put this on my back, dude. It weighs about 50 pounds. So, the peak of payphones.
You ain't kidding.
No,
Yeah.
he's not.
The peak of payphones. There's two differing sources. It was either 2.6 million in the U.S. around 95, or 2.2 million around the year 2000. There are a couple of differing sources there as to how many payphones. But that's a lot of payphones.
A lot of people.
I can remember when I was a young child, they had two of them on each end of our public square, sticking up there on the sidewalk.
Bedford Square had them too.
Right. So, does anyone know how payphones worked?
You put money in and you make a call. It makes a
Oh,
little funny signaling noise.
Well,
when
do you
put
know what that
coins in.
signaling noise is for?
For telling the phone company there's money in it.
Yeah, so the payphone, the automatic payphone, so the original payphones, the ones everybody thinks of when they think of old payphone, are the 3-slot payphones, where each coin has its own slot. You put the money in and it rings a bell. Those are all required operator assistance. You could not dial directly from them. You had to talk to the operator first.
Yeah.
And those bells were there to tell the operator that you'd inserted coins and how much.
Yeah.
These are called automatic payphones because they do not require the use of a operator. You deposit your money in, and it generates a tone set. I think a quarter was either 4 or 5 tones that told a central computer, hey, they just put a quarter in. Then that computer would then allow the phone call to go through. So there's actually no decision making done. I should probably turn my phone on vibrate. There's actually no decision making done at the phone.
His phone rang.
And if you could connect like a regular house phone to a payphone line, it still wouldn't let you dial out. Like it would still be looking for the tones.
Huh. Oh, the phone itself would.
Right.
Huh.
So, but
So that's where the phone freaks got into their whole.
yeah,
thing
that's
back in the
what
day.
I was getting ready to mention was phone freaking. So they had these things, red boxes, right? Because Blue Box
Red-
was for long distance.
There was
right?
at one point, I don't know if
Yeah.
this was per payphone. This was actually for long distance signaling, which you also
That's
used
Blue
to have.
Box.
Blue
It's a
Box.
blue
Yeah.
box. Yeah, there's a red box.
I'm not a
The
phone
red
freak,
box.
am I?
So you could make a red
nothing
box.
Yeah, nothing to do with the place you get DVDs from.
The most
I was thinking
popular.
to Captain Crunch. He was a phone freak.
Right.
He got a Captain Crunch
Yeah, that was
whistle
for
in
that was
the
for long
70s,
distance.
and he could blow long distance numbers
that
with
guy
the
though-
Captain Crunch
Right.
whistle.
Wasn't that guy like that? Wasn't that guy the guy that was blind?
Maybe.
There was one guy that was
couldn't
like completely blind. Who was like one of the best phone hackers ever, or something like
Make
that.
as many phone calls he wanted for nothing
Yeah.
with his whistle.
Oh yeah.
So, red boxing, you could actually do keys to the payphone. You could
I
actually.
wanted to get in this.
No, we will. So you could actually make one of these. The most popular way to do it was you could go get one of those. Did you ever have one of the pocket dialers that would store? It would store your number, and then the idea was you would put the box up to the phone microphone, hit the dial button, and it would dial the touch tones for you. You could modify those so that the asterisk key would make the same tone that the payphone central computer was looking for.
That's dirty.
Like one version of it had because there's actually the grid is actually 4x4, so you miss that ABCD that's on the side of this.
Right.
Those actually have function.
On
I know that.
telephone networks?
Yeah, like
Okay.
telephone networks. Those ABCDs actually have function, and some of the hacker guys or the phone freaks back in the 70s had built the box that actually did that. And it had the ABCD on it, and they were able to they were on like party lines and everything else. So they get like conference calls with other hackers and like
That's funny.
which is pretty wild that actually worked, and that one guy got so good at finding out the information. I mean, there's a whole video on this. It's really fascinating. But the guy would he would call up, hey, this is Bob over here at Central. We're trying to get into this code. We've misplaced the code, and they would give him the code.
That's funny.
The guy got so good at doing that.
So I found this on Facebook Marketplace, and
Of course.
Who'd have like that?
it was about 2 hours away from my house, and luckily the seller was willing to both take PayPal and ship it for me for a very reasonable fee.
$1 million.
Did you wrap it in a truck bed?
He actually they had a box all built up for it, and it was
Oh,
in
wow.
styrofoam, all the way encased in styrofoam, and it was very professionally wrapped.
Oh, cool.
I was
Sell a lot.
extremely
A lot of different
Yeah,
things.
I think they had a store, like a novelty type store that this was in, so I think they probably
shipped things
did.
many times.
Yeah. So let's get into the
Yeah, I can admit, I've given Justin flack because he bought a payphone.
especially on the
I'm not
radio.
gonna lie, I kind of want to see what's inside a payphone.
2 meters. He was giving me all sorts of crap on. So let's
I
collect
just-
the money
I just don't
first.
understand why you would spend money to buy a payphone. Mine.
So the thing that I think is interesting about this, as we is how untrusting the telephone company was. So if you had a route to collect money from payphones, you'd have your keys here, like I do. You've got the one on the side here that you turn first, and that unlocks the mechanism, and then you have your what's called a T key, which is this guy. So, and that pulls out.
What's in that?
So in here, you have the vault. You reach in here. Now, did you hear that click? Mm-hmm. So, well, it's a really tight fit. There we go.
Almost dead.
So here's where the money goes. Notice, can't get in there, right?
Yeah, they've locked it out.
So yeah, the phone company did not trust their own employees to empty. This would either have a lock or a tamper seal on it. Mm-hmm. And so there's no way for whoever, and if they had a route, they would have another one of these. If they would just slide in its place, lock the phone back up, and then take this back to the central office. So if you pop this off in here, and to do this, you would have to either unlock it or break the tamper seal, whichever the company used. And then you have to get in it, you reset it, which you do with just a regular screwdriver here. Which will now let this, so it goes in like this. So as you put it in the phone, there's a little tab that hits this and opens the chute back so that the coin mech can drop coins into it. And then when you take it out, it slides back shut and is locked.
Fun.
So if we needed to get in here and do a repair, or if we were installing this, there's another lock here on the side. Unlocks, and again you have to have your T key, and it goes on the other side over here, this little hole. That's a satisfying sound. I love that.
Jeez.
So now it's unlocked, and the entire front just slides off.
Innards.
The innards of it.
There's the bill.
So this is just the dial pad and
That's
the
actual
coin.
electronics in that thing.
Oh yeah, and this is the little amplifier that does the volume stepping. And I think this is interesting. This is just here specifically to keep you from yanking on this wire. Because I mean, even this is probably 10 pounds.
Sure.
Just this part of it.
Number 12 steel, man.
Yeah. So in here, this is the coin mechanism.
That's a legit old school ringer.
Oh yeah, we can take the coin mech out and
There you go. Yeah. That's what I'd hear when I told so and so to call the phone.
so here, this is your coin mech. And the interesting thing about a payphone coin mech is it actually, so you deposit your money, and it actually holds it in here in what's called escrow until the phone company either tells it to deposit the money or to refund it. Because, you know, if you, on a payphone, if you called a number and there wasn't an answer or the line was busy and you hung up, you got your money back.
Yeah.
So the mech had to hold it until the central signaling station told it either deposit the money or refund the money, which was done down here in this little guy. And it basically just kicks it either one way or the other. So they're not terribly complicated.
Relay.
But so yeah, payphones are cool.
See, children, this is what phones sounded like when I was very small.
So
Except a lot faster. That's weirdly satisfying.
You can actually, without modifying this at all, I hooked a telephone line up to the appropriate spots here, and it works. I mean, it works just like a regular phone. Like, you don't have to put money in because, again,
If you put it in the right spot there, yeah.
So
Yeah.
the lines on
because the line control wasn't done by the payphone. It was done at the telephone company. So, so yeah, these work completely unmodified in home use as long as you don't want the coin mech to work. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want the coin mech to work, so I'm gonna be building a project here before long that will,
send the go signal.
yeah, and I'll make it so that it can be red boxed.
What are the dip switches for?
You know, I don't really know.
5, 10, 20, 40, and 80.
I mean, I think it's. I don't really know.
Initial
I know it's. I think it may be a rate, but I know that the rate wasn't
initial
really.
rate switch access.
Yeah, I don't actually.
I don't know what that means either.
So yeah, that's the initial cost of like a single phone call.
But that wasn't controlled here.
That's pretty true.
Some old
so-
Bell System technician is screaming right now because he knows and we don't.
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay,
if you
know,
do,
let us
message.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please message me. So I just picked this thing up like a couple of weeks ago, and have done literally. I think I've spent maybe 10 minutes with it. And most
He was
of that time
giddy
was-
about it though.
Oh, I was excited. I actually left work, drove, a half hour back to Bedford to pick this up, and then came back to work.
He's like, I got a payphone, and I'm like, Why?
I was always. And Timmy was raining on my parade.
I don't rain on parades.
Yeah.
It's just my natural attitude.
It even smell that. It has that.
I'm
old
not smelling the
Smell my
payphone.
phone. Smell my phone.
I'll take your word for it.
It has that old electronic.
Who knows
grease
where this
smell.
came from? Probably came from some ghetto or something.
Now I was told that the lady that had
Area
the,
code 732. You keep talking. I'll look it up.
I was told that the lady who had this in her store and was selling it had acquired it from a GTE test lab employee, and he apparently had it in his collection. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know why you would lie about such a thing. So,
I guess the receiver is reasonably clean. It may not have been out in public.
or it may have been out in public, it just not its entire life. I mean, that's probably how I see it. I mean, it is in pretty good shape, although it is pretty hard to do much to these.
Yeah, that thing. That metal in this. That is thick
This
stuff.
freaking phone came from New Jersey.
There's nothing.
Don't people talk smack about New Jersey? Up in New York City?
New Jazzy.
People in Jersey.
There's absolutely nothing on this that's plastic.
Yeah, no. Well,
Maybe the circuit boards.
the deflector piece and some of the coin bank actually is, but it's
And they're next to the flux capacitor.
That's right.
And the Warble D Dervit. That's what this is. That's a Warble D Dervit.
Warble Dervit, huh?
I made that up. I'm clever today. I'm a genius.
So my next move for this is the controller, and I want one of the little, not a full phone booth, but the little enclosures that were about when
I
we were
think you need a
young.
full phone booth.
No, I don't want a full phone booth. I don't have one for a full phone
with the
booth.
double hinged door and everything. And the dumb light in the middle.
Then I would have to jump out of it and go, excellent! Whoa!
It's Rufus!
oh my god.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, for those of you who haven't picked up on it yet.
Movie they're apparently doing another one or a
Oh,
comeback
no.
movie. They're both going to be in it.
Leave that alone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's
I thought the second one
resurrected
was-
from the acting dead.
The second one was awful. The Bogus Journey, that was
Yeah,
just
I've heard
not-
that was pretty
That
bad.
was not good. Did you never see it?
No.
Oh, I actually went to the drive-in.
I remember a Saturday morning cartoon version that was pretty
Yeah, that
terrible.
was. I enjoyed that though.
I was probably about 9.
Well, there's actually something that we still have in this area is a drive-in theater.
I haven't been to this one.
They're so
I kinda wanna
rare
go.
anymore, it's almost funny.
Yeah,
but
there's
there's
one-
still one here like within like 5 miles where we're at right now.
Three old tech dudes should go to the drive-in.
Well, we go
We
walk.
should.
I don't know.
We have a pickup truck. We can do that.
They'll let us look at their fancy projector.
Ooh, wonder if
Love
anybody
to,
could
because
arrange
that's a
that.
very, very expensive digital projector.
Yeah, so it's
not
not
the
the
old
old
school
school
projector.
No,
No, it's
the-
not those guys. I wonder
They
if
raised
still
the money
have
for that or
yeah,
something.
that's actually what killed a
was
lot
like
of the drive-ins were.
$80,000
Yeah.
projector.
Serious
I mean, it was
money.
High
Yeah.
dollar.
And I think didn't they get it used? Didn't they have
They
to get
might
it used?
have.
Maybe.
I remember reading a story about it somewhere.
That's what killed a lot of the remaining drive-in theaters were.
They don't ship film anymore.
Yeah, when they finally said, okay, we're done shipping film, you have to convert to digital. Unfortunately, that put a lot of the few remaining drive-in theaters out of business.
Yeah.
There are a few still that were lucky enough, like ours, to be able to raise funds and purchase a modern projector. But
Yeah, that's one thing I never even thought about this till just now, mainly because I have my own personal channel. I have like a lot of people from not in the United States, and I was just kind of curious. Like we have those around here, and they were popular for a long time across the entire U.S. I would assume Canada,
Probably.
but I really wonder if those even existed in Europe.
Right.
yeah, you got a much denser population.
Not
there,
as much of a
so-
car culture in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm just kind of curious. So if anyone knows on that one, I'm just curious. But put that down in the comments because I really want to know that. I'm pretty sure that I've heard friends who are Canadian talk about drive-ins when they were kids. So I'm sure they probably did exist. But I know they did definitely around the United States. I just didn't think they were that popular. I don't know, maybe.
I mean, every small town here had a drive-in theater.
Oh, my, yeah.
They were much cheaper than
Bedford had
than
3.
regular drive-in or regular theaters. You know, you didn't have to build a big building and
Oh, yeah.
stuff like. I mean, you had to have a field and a screen and a projector.
So one of them is out. One of the old ones is out by the high school. The other one is where your church is at.
Yep, absolutely.
And then we saw the one in Mitchell that's still there. So when I was a kid, the one that was on the south side of Bedford had a I think they call it a 10-inch scale railroad that you could ride, and it would actually run. And in like the back 40, which is now that part of housing addition, of course. Yeah, the whole thing is now there's a church where it's at now, so it's all gone. But the one that was out by the high school, bits and pieces of it are still there. They just use it to store like junk.
Isn't the screen framing still there? It used to be.
It used to be. I think it finally blew down in a storm, but parts of it are still there. Like some of the original stands for the speaker.
Go out there and look.
Those are still there.
The speakers are some money now.
Yeah, because and of course the one we have now, they use a low power FM transmitter.
Right. Yeah. Because
so you just bring like a little boombox and those things.
those speakers are very expensive to acquire now, and people are still kind of rough on them.
Oh yeah.
Or sometimes they try to steal them now just to have the speaker.
Yeah, and they like clamped onto the windows because they like hung onto the window.
You didn't want to forget to take that off.
It bust your window right out.
Yeah.
But it's like the nostalgia of like drive-in theaters and the same kind of thing with like payphones and something. These things are they're vanishing. Your wife is not going to answer that call.
I even dialed my home number. Are you sure?
Well, now everybody knows your home number.
Crap.
Do you still have a landline at home? Oh wow.
I have a Vonage line.
It's so cheap. I keep it. It's
So-
really because if you trim everything off of it, they kind of want you to at least still pay some kind of bill. I can't call long distance. Don't have call waiting. But that's dial tone if I want to play with a real phone.
I have the same phone number that I've had my entire life.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to let that go, so
Yeah.
I had it ported over to Vonage. I keep Vonage so that I can and I have a ring booster box so that it'll ring old phones like this, but I mainly keep it so that I can play with old phones like this and
So ring
and
booster
others.
is like a 50 amp power supply.
Right.
Really in there. That was what it was.
Mine's
And then
still an
it was
883 number in Salem, which is a thing now
Yeah.
because we got 896 after that, and then now I think there's a couple of different.
Oh, now it's just so much funny because I'm sitting there thinking, because a friend of mine, actually all of ours, moved up to Michigan, Dave, and he still has his cell phone with the Bedford number.
A lot of people don't change their numbers like that around.
Yeah, at this point they're just kind of like, why? What's
Right.
the point?
Yeah, long distance isn't a thing anymore.
No.
Yeah, no cell phones. It's just it's totally gone.
You no longer have to
Yeah.
call 0 for operator assistance.
Yeah.
I like how the
drop.
placards are mismatched. This one's newer than the bottom one.
You had that a lot with payphones.
Because it says deposit 25 cents,
yeah,
quarters only, but the top it demanded 50 cents at the end of its production life, it appears.
yeah.
So like when I was a kid, cell phones they did exist. They were really well. They originally didn't have cell phones. They had land mobile phones. Mm-hmm. So you had the 6 channels you could pick from. So there were 6 people on at once.
Yeah.
That's all in an area.
Well, yeah, but it probably cost like $5 a minute.
Oh, it's just insane because no one had them. So I mean, they were so rare. It was funny. I didn't see one until mid '90s. I had heard of them, but
Even
cell
mid
phones-
'90s, car phones were still a thing, like the
well,
bag
yeah,
phones.
the bag phones, but they were cell phones at least. At that
Yeah.
point. This thing ran on like a frequency of just about 6 meters. So back in those days, even up through like the '80s, where in cell phones. Actually, back that Danny Glover movie, but that was like the first time I'd ever seen a cell phone because he's sitting there talking to the guy, and he had one of the original giant cell phones. But that was like the very first cell phone that came out. I think it was from Motorola, actually. But so cell phones existed in larger cities at that point. But like in Bedford, there weren't cell phone coverage, there wasn't cell phone coverage until I really want to say early '90s, '94 maybe. I think '93 when I actually got my first cell phone then. Indianapolis had
Look at
them.
you getting a cell phone in '94.
Yeah, that was early. But I went to Radio Shack and got mine. But it worked.
Was it a brick phone? Was it a Zach Morris
No,
phone?
it fit in your pocket.
Zach
really?
Morris phone.
It wasn't
yeah.
a Zach Morris phone.
It fit in your pocket. But it's really funny. Like prior to that, when I was growing
Alright.
up, like during the '80s and whatnot, like you'd go to the mall. Now like everyone has a phone, so you're always connected. It did not exist then. You had payphones. There was a bank of payphones and stuff like that. But you didn't see this stuff. I mean, it didn't exist like that. So it's kind of funny.
I think I mentioned this during the answering machine video, but I thought it was just worth noting again. You used to get a phone call if you weren't home. You would have no idea that someone called you until you got home.
Yeah.
That's true.
Unless you had, like an answering machine or something like that.
Well, yeah,
So they
that's
did
what
have
you
this.
wouldn't. I mean, yeah, I guess you could technically call your answering machine from a payphone or somewhere else and check your messages.
Yeah,
too.
you could. What was it? The Rockford Files showed one of those. It was
Think so.
from the 70s. So those existed, and actually, those are actually amazingly older than you'd think. I believe they went back into the 40s or 30s.
Probably.
They were wire recorders originally, so they were really, really old. Of course, no one could afford them, but they did have them. Yeah, but just the technology, it's amazing how much it's changed from this to, like your iPhone now, which is stunningly more advanced than this. But
You can make your iPhone sound like this.
yeah.
That ringer does exist.
You can download a picture of it and put it on your
Ooh, there you
free
go.
wallpaper.
Right.
Anyway,
So yeah, that's my payphone.
that's Payphone.
So hope you enjoyed this looking inside history. Smash the subscribe button and give us a like. Comment down below, especially if you know something about this, because I'm still learning. So hey, if you have any
or-
knowledge to share.
Or even, let us know if you actually still see these around,
Oh yeah.
or when the last time you used one was. That's the thing.
I don't know when I last used one other than this
I'm
one.
thinking 80s.
It wasn't that long ago for me.
For me, it'd be like 1980s.
This is Timmy.
Start singing the Maroon 5
You're supposed
song.
to do your outro. Failed. Failed.
Sorry, you should plan. We should plan. Anyway, so yeah.
So he's-
Comment,
he's
like.
Timmy.
I'm Justin.
I'm Nathan.
We're three old tech dudes.
Bye.
That's on there. I'll cut the video. Thank you.
Oh wow.
That's actually really
All right,
I've never
you-
seen those.
You win.